Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today chaos erupts at a local yodeling competition as the judges can't decide who the victor will be, and so in the time-honored tradition of the Swiss people, the winner will be determined by trial by Age of Empires, as Hera, playing as the Khmer or Khmer in blue, takes on Sebastian, playing as the Romans in red, with the 9 villager warlord settings on Alpine, a map that, Dorothy, we are not on Arabia anymore. Very, very close to one another. We'll take a look at the map once we get through the introduction of the civilizations. Speaking of that, while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate very, very close surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup we are going to be watching today. Now, the Khmer are a civilization that focuses on some of the heaviest hitting units in the game. To start with, their scorpions come with extra range, can be upgraded to shoot a second bolt. Their battle elephants move faster and can be upgraded to hit even harder with a +3 attack. And their unique unit is quite possibly one of the most annoying units in the game to deal with head on. I am referring to the ballista elephant, which is an elephant unit with a giant scorpion or ballista mounted on its back, which, by the way, like the Khmer scorpion, can be upgraded to shoot a second bolt. Now, in order to take advantage of these very powerful units, bonuses, upgrades, and features, the Khmer have to get their butts up to Castle and Imperial ASAP with a lot of food in the bank. And so to help them do this, the developers have given them a few nifty features. To start with, the Khmer don't need any structures to go up to the next age. As long as you've got the resources, you can immediately click up. Second, all buildings from your age are available to you at all times, which means you don't need a barracks to build a stable. You do not need a blacksmith to build a siege workshop. There is no such thing as a prerequisite. And lastly, farmers do not need to drop off food at a mill or a town center. As long as they are working the farm, it automatically adds 1 unit of food to their coffers as time goes by. So basically, if Hera wanted to, he could place a farm right here with absolutely nothing around it. No need to move to drop off anything. Pivoting to the right side of the map, we've got Sebastian playing as the Romans in red, a mixed land-based naval civilization with a few strong unit features that make them very dangerous. To start with, Roman infantry units do get double the effect of armor upgrades, I should say infantry armor upgrades. They have access to the Legionary, a tanky, well-armored, unique infantry unit that does replace their two-handed swordsmen and champions and comes with a decent attack bonus against other infantry units. And to make their infantry even deadlier, the Romans can turn to a second unique unit, the Centurion. This is a heavy cavalry unit that actually increases both the movement and attack speed of any and all militia line units under its command. Now, to overwhelm their opponents on the battlefield, the Romans can actually upgrade their entire militia line, their knight line, and their Centurion units to not only train 50% faster, but to also all of them come with a +5 charge attack, similar to the Burgundian Custodieu. A little bit of a Romeo-Juliet story here with these Pinto horses, in case you're wondering why you're seeing horses and not scouts. On some maps in Age of Empires, you get horses, and a pretty horse it is. And so you have to look at the minimap, or you have to highlight the unit to see whose actual scout it is, because they are both skewbalds, and so they're both brown and white like chocolate milk. Now, to back up their army, the Romans do have one of the deadliest, if not the deadliest, scorpions in the game. Not only do these siege units cost a lot less gold, think Schlachter privileges for scorpions, but their minimum range is reduced from 2 to 1. They can be upgraded to fire faster, and they're the only scorpions in the game to benefit from ballistics, so their bolts will track you, and their bolts will kill you. Now, to help a player get to the later stages of the game, maintain the might of the Roman Empire, or perhaps if you're more of a romantic, maintain the might of the SPQR, well, then Roman villagers do gather resources and repair and build structures 5% faster than generic villagers. Now, one thing I want to point out here that I forgot to mention for the Khmer, they can garrison their villagers inside houses. And so when the danger comes, for example, with a random spearman here, they can run away into the house. Oh my goodness, what a little maneuver. What a little maneuver out of Hera. Pops the villager in, pops him out over here, builds the palisade, pops him back in, and then pops him back out. And with that fancy lightning quick APM and micro, it is our Khmer who gets the first kill of the game. as now scouts are out and a horse is trying to block. Oh, he's trying to block. A Roman wants revenge. He wants to get a kill of his own, but so far not able to, at least not with this scout. Hera, though, commits and loses his own scout. Okay, so Sebastian evens up the kill count. By the way, I said we take a look at the map. Let's take a look at it, because we are on a giant erupted pimple. It looks like both players, as we saw in the beginning, starting one right next to the other, and with the 9 villager warlord settings, with a few villagers already surrounding one very unlucky sheep who had the glorious honor of being the first to be sacrificed for their random whichever civilization they spawned for. One thing I will point out about Alpine, take a look at this very nifty feature that Captrade added with their latest update. You can see the resources. Look at how much gold and stone is on this map. 53,000 gold, 18.6k stone. Usually on a map like Arabia, for example, it's 8,400 and then 28,000 gold, but this is almost double. Well, almost double the gold, more than double the stone. So we'll see what kind of shenanigans the players can get up to here as our Roman tries to stop a tower going up while his is already up. Now, one thing I will point out, a little bit of an advantage, I think, to the Khmer in this kind of map where you are literally inches, tiles away from your opponent, because your villagers, again, can just run and garrison inside a house. Now, unfortunately for those villagers, they do not regenerate any HP when they garrison inside a house. And so if they go in with 5 HP, they can sit there for an hour. They can watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy extended cut and sit there for literally 50 hours and come out still with the same 5 HP. So they don't actually heal. Oh, and the Sebastian is going to get these 2 villagers unless Hera deletes his palisade. Okay, deletes the palisade, but not in time. He does lose a villager there. She is lying dead next to her pile of wood. Let's see what's going on around the map, as the nature of the map, with very few resources here in the center where the players actually are. It looks like just basically only gold and a few berries. Not even my favorite lemon bushes. So get out of here, berries. It's going to force the players to get very mobile, very creative, and very decentralized, which it takes a certain level of comfort to play this kind of Age of Empires map. It's not exactly Arabia, it's not Arena, Fortress, all of these maps where you can build a base, close it off, and then just, you know, if you're very shy, you know, dip a little toe outside of your palisade walls, dip a little finger into the lake, test the waters, see if your opponent's over here, over there. No, not at all in this map. Not only do you start right up in the grill of your opponent, like I said, literally what looks like, what, 15 to 20 tiles away? But again, there's nothing in the middle for you, so you have to explore the map. All of those extra resources I mentioned are all strewn about. By the way, lots and lots of ibex all over the map. And so civilizations like the Mongols, for example, the Goths, will have an absolute field day on this kind of map. 2 more scouts lie dead. Kill count is 6 to 8. What are you? I think it's called a skewbald. I'm not an expert on horses. When I lived in Oslo for a while, there was a, next to my student, what was it called in Norwegian? Ooh, Anker Student Bulliger. Next to my student dorm, we were able to take a bus very, very short distance to a police horse training facility. I don't know what to call it. It's where the police horses were kept. And man, oh man, first of all, I'm not that tall. I'm like 5'6", 5'7". Oh, I lie about being 5'7". I'm probably like 5'6". And the horses that these Norwegian cops were riding were absolutely massive. They were standing at like 10 feet tall. What seems to me to have been 8-10 feet tall. A tower, another tower down here. Hera's doing a good job keeping the eastern perimeter of his base safe, but he's also not really pushing in to the western perimeter of the Roman base. Anyway, the point is, I got to speaking with some of the Norwegian police, and they were very educated on horses, so they kept telling me all these different names like Pinto, Paint Horse, and they knew a lot of slang for these horses, which, by the way, if you think horses are, there's like universal naming, I don't think there is. There's UK English, which we use in Canada, and then there's American English, And so I think we say skewbald, which is what these horses are. There's a different word. I think piebald is the one that has black and white, and then skewbald is the one with brown and white. But anyway, you're not here for a lesson in equestrian classifications. I'll let you watch the Kentucky Derby for that. What you're here for is lots and lots of action, lots and lots of death. Let's see what the players are doing. A Roman, another tower, but look at this. A bit of a defensive tower this time. Ooh, Hera doesn't care. He moves in. Will he get one villager? For sure, he's going to get one villager. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Well, there you go. For sure turns into not for sure. As now he gets out of here, Sebastian can freely eject those villagers from the town center. Oh, looks like a whole series of death and destruction happening here next to the quarry. We'll see that in picture as Hera brings even more cavalry. He's down 5 villagers, but he's ahead 5 army count. And that army count is all horses, including his random horse that's kind of just here watching. Okay. So he sees the hunters. He knows that that is a free get for him, basically. If the Roman goes infantry, which why the hell would the Roman not go infantry? Remember, they get double the blacksmith armor upgrade effect. So everyone else with scale mail armor would have a +1/+1, not the Romans. They get +2/+2. And surrounds the villagers. He does very risky maneuver here out of Sebastian. I'm surprised he went to the right of the map, but not, for example, to the north of the map. Although, and nowhere is really safe if your opponent has these very quick mounted scouts and scout roving bands of scout cavalry everywhere. But the tower does go up. Another tower goes up next to these pile of rocks, karsts maybe. And just your average, you know, pile of rocks. I'm gonna stop. I went way too far into the horse rabbit hole. I'm not gonna start going into geology, but another slaughter of Roman cavalry here. Our Roman has 1 scout left. And to be fair, right now, at this point, their scout units in Feudal are basically the exact same. They have the same upgrades. They have the same HP. They have the same everything. At the moment, there's no... It's not like, for example, Hera's playing the Georgians, and the longer he keeps his scouts moving around, the more they regenerate their HP. I don't think there's any real difference at this point in Feudal Age between the two scouts. So the Roman is going a bit more of a stationary-ish, not exactly stationary because it's still a unit, but a little bit of a slower unit, which tells me he is interested in being more defensive against Hera, who is training the much quicker unit here, the much more mobile unit, even though it's the weaker one in a 1v1 confrontation, because the +15 attack bonus that spearmen have against cavalry is pretty massive against 65 HP, especially when you're attacked by multiple spearmen like here. Hera gets shoot away. And so one player playing very defensive, one player playing very offensive, although we'll see how long a Roman can keep out the Khmer horde here. It looks like the town center of Hera is under attack as yet another battle to the south. And this one again, going firmly in Hera's favor, although not as clean and not as one-sided as before. A villager gets added in. A villager, what do you think you're doing? She bites the dust. And Hera's going up to Castle Age, his town center. Let's see what is attacking you. I mean, we kind of know what's attacking you. It's the tower. And so this tower, not really enough to lame the gold. It's tickling away at HP, tickling away at the HP of the house. Very aggressive farmer moves forward. Okay. Where the hell? Oh, when you disable auto farm or auto seeding or whatever the hell that feature is called, and you're so close to your opponent, I guess your villager just goes to the next closest farm. Will he make it? No, Hera again with the quicker fingers, but where the hell's his villager going now? What is happening here as these villagers confuse each other's farms? Oh man, the funny things that can happen in these games. Looks like army counts have completely topsy-turvied. It's now our Khmer. This is his entire army, ignoring that one scout who really shouldn't count as army supply. I don't know why they count this as military. Not exactly anything you can do with this horse except maybe gently nuzzle your opponent and make him go "aww" until he dies of over cuteness. But look at the army counts now, 15 to 6. Hera's still Actually, no, Hera's ahead 4 villagers now. As another farmer bites the dust here, just to the right of his town center. But he's in Castle Age. Sebastian is nowhere close. How many stables does our Khmer have? 2 stables. Okay. So let's see if he continues to go the light cavalry route in the face of the increasing number of spearmen here. And just now, our Roman gets bloodlines. Just now. So he is committing. Bloodlines does cost 150 food, I believe. And so he is very much committing right now to this Feudal Age aggression as our Khmer pops out knights. Oh no. 120 HP knights are not even going to blink an eye even when they're facing off against spearmen with that plus 15 attack. It's one thing to fight a unit that has 65 HP. It's quite another to fight a unit that has 120 HP and kicks your ass with a base of a 10 attack compared to the base of what, a 5? Yeah, okay, Sebastian. Wait a second though. Wait a second. Look at the left of your screen. Bought food, sold stone, stole wood, bought more food. He is clicking up to the Castle Age. He saw the knights. I mean, he must have seen the knights. So he knows his army has to stay alive. These spearmen need to turn into pikemen. These light cavalry units need to keep the knights maneuvering around. What's going on in the zit here? Not much. Okay. So the action firmly mobile. I'm surprised. Usually on a smaller map, my experience of watching these games, not so much casting, because I don't think I've casted beyond 1 or 2 of those tiny maps. You know, the tiny maps that T90 likes to post. Those are awesome, fun ones. But when the tiny maps are played by pro players, generally it's let's put it like this. If you're a gambling person, you can never go wrong betting that there's going to be some kind of tower rush and tower play. And holy moly. The army counts are very similar, but our Feudal Age army just got obliterated. And what is he doing? He's retraining spearmen. So he's going to go... I'm assuming he's going to get the next armor upgrade for his spearmen. So first of all, not to interrupt me interrupting myself, as Hera now tries to find even more villagers, but a town center is a pretty big deterrent to early Castle Age knights. Even with +1 armor, they're not that strong against so many arrows. I'm glad we're not seeing just a tower push into a tower push, although those can be really, really fun. What we're seeing here is a bunch of light cav. Okay, maybe you can go after those with your spearmen, but you're in Castle Age. You have no food. Never mind. You bought food. You sold stone. Sebastian's economy is teetering on the brink. He does not have the resources he needs to get the army composition that he wants. Or maybe it's the opposite. He doesn't have the economy he wants to get the army composition he needs. And so he destroys his own house so he can run into the safety of the town center. He just needs 8 more seconds and these spearmen will become pike. They get their asses into the town center. They pop out matured men holding bigger weapons with a bigger +22 attack bonus against cavalry. But Hera's over here, managed to get 2 villagers, even though the Sebastian tried to wall himself off. This is not your average Rage Forest boar or snow leopard. You are not going to be able to wall yourself off that easily against Hera. And where the hell are the pikemen going? Where are they going? Hera's army is over here. And the only thing you have to defend is palisade walls. Okay, so Sebastian rolling the dice in an absolute insanely risky way. This is like betting 1-1-1 in Sickbo. I'm gonna stop with the gambling analogy. I'm not that big of a degenerate. I just like... Anyway. This is the point is, this is the real threat to you. Why are your pikemen over here attacking villagers that can run into houses? Okay, he's managed to kill a few villagers. But was it worth it? He's getting knights of his own now, is the Roman. And by the way, the pikemen would do fantastically against these knights, because now look at their armor. +4/+4. Now that he's got the second one, the chainmail armor. And now Sebastian, unfortunately, has to idle a whole bunch of villagers. Oh, did he cut that one tree that was here? Very risky. Hera could have jutted into this little expansion very quickly if he noticed it, but I guess he didn't notice it. What he is noticing is a house, but there's already a wall off behind it. So Sebastian, in emergency mode, bring the pikemen home. Bring them here. More pikemen come out. There's one inside the barracks. One gets out of the barracks, goes left. I don't know where the hell he thinks he's going. Hera's now roving around the northern side of this town center, expecting, maybe hoping to get a few more villager kills. And now the pikemen are going to the middle of nowhere, literally. Are they going to shift into this wood line? Okay. They've got 9 total kills. The knights, 17 total kills. Now they're attacking the barracks. What a risky move out of our Roman. Let's see if it pays off. The villager counts are still very small for both. Very low for both, I should say. 43 to 41. Army count is identical, but one side has paladins. Paladins in Potentia, maybe. Knights, the other has a very tanky Roman pikeman, and Sebastian abandons ship. He's running away. There's no defense here for these villagers. The 3 pikemen get overwhelmed and destroyed here. Yeah, I mean, come on. That was bound to happen. First of all, why did he stop defending here? He has 149 stone. You can plop down a few more walls. Don't be shy. But where the hell are the pikemen? Now they're over here? What the hell are they doing over here with their 1 knight companion? By the way, there's still the same 9 kills. What? Let's think about this. I mean, there's got to be a reason Sebastian sent them onto the other side of the map. Usually the reason is, you know, for the exact same reason Hera does the exact same thing. You know, anytime anyone attacks Hera's base, his instinct is to counterattack. We've seen him do it almost every single game when he gets attacked into, and he just fights back and lashes out at his opponent on the other side of the map. Maybe that's what Sebastian was doing, but with pikemen that attack on a base of a 4 against villagers that can run into houses? I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. I would have loved to see 13 pikemen try to take on 9 knights. I honestly don't know who wins in that matchup, especially since these are Roman pikemen. So every time a knight attacks, what are Hera's upgrades? 11 minus 4 is 7 damage to 55 HP. What is that? 8 attacks needed to kill 1 pikeman? Isn't that bonkers? A knight needs 8 attacks, right? I'm not, my math is correct, right? 11 minus 4. There is absolutely no bonus that knights have against this unit, or any unit, to be honest. So 11 minus 4 is 7. 55 divided by 7 is about 8. Meanwhile, the pikeman attacks on a 5. Forget that. The armor of 3 negates that. So he does 2 damage. And then on top of that, he does 22. So 24 damage means only 5 attacks needed, right? No, or 6 attacks. The only problem is for those pikemen is that the knight attacks almost twice as fast. 1.8 attack speed versus 3. And so, as always with most counter units, the trade-off, even though they come with massive bonuses, is that they attack much, much slower. And so I really am curious, who would have won this battle? The HP is almost identical. The numbers going to our Roman, the power going to our Khmer. At the end of the day, though, we didn't get to see it. What we got to see is a bunch of villagers trying to run away. I don't know what this attempt is. Maybe Sebastian sacrificed a few going backwards so that these ones could escape, but Hera's not falling for it. Peels off 2 of his heavier knights and chases with the rest. It looks like maybe a 3rd unit is peeling away to attack. So Sebastian tried to pull a fancy maneuver, which everyone should do. If you're running away with, let's say, 20 villagers, or what's in here, 13, peel off 3 or 4, move them backwards, and hopefully maybe your opponent will chase with his entire army, and then you can save 8 or 9 of your villagers. But Hera's not falling for it. He sends only a few units back. He's got another knight over here. And so the rest of the villagers, maybe half of them are going to be dead by the time they reach the town center, or at least the perimeter of the town center, which is where they'll be safe. And wow, what a fun, very decentralized. Like I said, you have to be very comfortable on a map like this to have your entire settlement decentralized, multiple parts always moving, your villagers never really stationary, random tower threats anytime, anywhere. Well, let's take a look at the stats. Light cav to pikemen, knights to light cav. Oh my goodness, Hera made so few different types of units. That horse, okay. Horse. I like that there's not even anything else. It just says horse. Hera with his usual APM towards the middle end of the game. Actually, 25-20, 25-45. These are less than a half a minute apart. We're going to have to go back and see what exactly was happening at that time. Food and gold for our Khmer. There's your knights. Wood and stone for our Roman. There's your defensive play. And militarily, no conversions, 6 raises to 1. Let's take a look at the kill count before we hop back to that 25-minute mark. Economically, they're basically killed the same number of villagers, 34 to 28. That's only really a 6 villager difference, even though at the end, I mean, our Roman with 31 villagers, 13 of them are just idle over here. I think there's a 14th over here as well who is repairing the... So 14 out of 31 villagers were just idle. 1 repairing, 13 moving and dying. And so it is any wonder that our Roman just was not able to continue playing. He's got barely any resources. Now, Hera's also got barely any resources, but it's not his villagers who are about to die. It's not his settlement that is about to get busted into. And all of a sudden, how many barracks did our Roman have? I feel like there are not that many. Okay, so only 2 barracks. So our player who was going heavy on the infantry is about to lose 50% of his military output, and he doesn't have enough wood to build another one. His farms, look at how, I mean, like literally Swiss cheese here in the Alps for both players. And wow, let's take a look at that 25-minute mark. Hera just absolutely, with the mobility of the light cav and the knights, just abuses the fact that his opponent's entire army is inexplicably on the other side of the Swiss Alps. Okay. It is what it is. I'm assuming, again, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I right that Sebastian wanted to get some kind of Hera-style counter damage done, but maybe not with pikemen? Maybe the pikemen better served over here, but I'm not going to keep repeating broken record. Let's take a look. 25-20, 25-45. So let's, what do I have to do? Just click on this, right? So it takes you a few seconds before. So let's go to 25-20. Right now is when Hera was PKPMing. So his base, nothing happening. Over here, I see 1 engagement. I don't see any blue anywhere else. I see his scout. What was happening that he needed the PKPM? Let's see for the next 30 seconds, because it's also Sebastian's PKPM. See, I'm surprised Hera's PKPM didn't come when he clicked into Castle Age, because that's usually, you know, you start queuing units, you start queuing technologies, you start plopping down infrastructure when you reach the next age. Okay, so Sebastian's PKPM, so roughly a bit of maneuvering of light cav, nothing really too crazy, but wow, what a fun game. A very decentralized, like I said, you have to be very comfortable with Age of Empires in order to play this kind of map very well. It's not your standard map, and because it's not your standard map, you have to be very comfortable with having random villagers in the middle of nowhere, random expansions in the middle of nowhere, and we saw at the end of the game, Sebastian even expanded over here, and you have to be very comfortable with the risk of losing 5 or 6 or 10 or even 13 villagers towards the end here. But an absolute fun game here in the Swiss Alps, and the yodeling competition is won by Hera, our Khmer in blue, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.